Hello everyone, this is Mr. Slomka, and this is video 5 of 5 on the creation of the unit circle. In video number 4, we had taken all the information that we knew about degree values, radian values, and ordered pairs, and put them all together into one organized tool that you can use to answer lots of great trig questions. Today what I want to do is I want to show you some pro tips that I've gathered over the years that are going to help you create one of these unit circles a little bit quicker than we had in the past. So I'm going to go through a couple of tips that are going to help you just move a little bit more swiftly based off of the 3 different kinds of information that we've collected so far. Let's start off with degree values. Degree values are probably the most straightforward piece of the information that we have on the unit circle, but you can speed it up. Last time what we had done is we'd actually gone around the circle twice. Once we had added 30 degrees by moving from 30 to 60, and then 60 to 90, and 90 to 120, and so on and so forth. And that meant we had actually skipped over some of the values as well. Then we went back and we talked about the 45s, and the 135s, and the 225s, and the 315s. That takes a little longer. If you want to speed up that process and just go around the circle one time, you can do that, but what you need to do is you need to identify the fact that there are 2 different size gaps, and no, that's not 30 degrees and 45 degrees, but rather there are these larger gaps that you see here, which are in fact 30 degrees, but then there are also these small gaps. This small gap right here exists between the 30 degrees and the 45 degrees. There's another identical small gap right here between 45 and 60, and then it goes back to being one of these larger gaps. So as we talked about, each larger gap is an addition of 30 degrees, and these smaller gaps right here are the difference between 45 and 30. Those smaller gaps are only 15 degrees. So as you're moving your way around, you can move it around all in one swoop if you add 30 for each big gap and add 15 for each small gap. And then 30 again, and then 30 again, and then 15 and 15, and then 30 and 30 and 15 and 15. So this is a trick that you can screw up a little bit because if you forget and you start adding 30s when you're supposed to be adding 15s, it can cause problems. But if you practice it enough, you'll do a great job with it and you'll move around the circle a little bit quicker. Okay, next. Radian values. Radian values are right here as well, and I've already given you my best trick. It is going to be based off of the number of slices you have in this pie right here. So when we're looking at these 30 degree, 60 degree, and 90 degree slices, what you'll find is there are 6 slices, so that's 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 6 pi over 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12 pi over 6 as well. And then you do need to go around again. When you're dealing with the 45s, what you're going to find is that there are only 4 slices here in the top portion, and so that means they're all pi over 4. So that's 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 pi over 4 as well. The major pro tip on that one is that I want you to remember that you're going to hit this pi over 2 a couple of times. That one right there is 3 pi over 6, and it's also 2 pi over 4. You're also going to hit pi. Pi right here is 4 pi over 4, but it's also 6 pi over 6. You're going to hit 3 pi over 2, and you're going to hit 2 pi multiple times as well. So just make sure that you are visiting these spots repeatedly, and then you won't skip any. All right, now for my best tricks. My best tricks I have saved for the ordered pairs around the outer edge, and I actually have 2 tricks that I think are going to be really great. My very best one is the last one, so please stick around to the very end of the video. So here's a good trick that I like a lot. When people start to really start paying attention to these ordered pairs, they notice a lot of patterns, and those can really help you out. One pattern that's super easy is that the denominators are very consistent. Our denominators that we have here are all denominators of 2, which is very nice and wonderful. Another thing that people notice about the numerators is that they're very nice and chronological. Take a look at this right here. If we focus on just the x values in this first quadrant, we have an x value of 0, then we have a numerator of 1, a numerator of 2, and a numerator of 3. So we counted 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the 2 and the 3 are under square roots, but I don't think that that's too bad. If you want, you can think about them all being under square roots, but the square root of 0 is 0, and the square root of 1 is 1. The same thing is true for the y values. We have to count in the opposite direction. 0, 1, 2, 3. Everything is over 2, so that doesn't change, and we're just going to count 0, 1, 2, 3. Now over here, this is where things can get a little tricky. A lot of times what people are going to do is they're going to see that 0 right there, and then they're going to go 0, and then come here, and they're going to want to do 1, 2, and 3. Please remember that this 0 right here is an x value. So when you're going 0 and you're coming to 1, you need to be in the x location. 1, 2, 3. This 0 right here is in the y location, so it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3 right there. Similarly down here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0, 1, 2, 3. So this trick works out really, really nicely. Okay, so here is my last trick and I think my best one. So when I was a pre-calculus teacher, I had heard from a couple of people, some of which were college professors, who were talking about how they really wish their students didn't use the unit circle, how they wish that the students could just simply visualize or know the unit circle without having to write it down each time. And so with that in mind, I had heard of this really great trick that I know a couple of math teachers talk about sometimes, and that is the unit circle that you have on your left hand. So what they do here is you use your left hand and you can get all of these ordered pair values right out here very quickly and easily. Let me show you what I mean. So when I'm going to use my left hand right here, I'm going to treat my thumb as the x-axis, and I'm going to treat my pinky right here as the y-axis. So I've got this 90 degrees that is happening with my hand right here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to choose which of these ones you are after. So maybe let's say that I was interested in 30 degrees or pi over 6. That one right there is going to be one of these three fingers. 30 degrees is a very small one, so it's going to be this guy. Now the thing that you're going to do is you're going to tuck that finger in. Now take a look. What we have right here is we've got two different collections of fingers. We have a collection of fingers up here, and then we have another collection of fingers down here. And these fingers are going to represent our ordered pair numerators. Take a look. My first ordered pair should be root 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3. There's your root 3 right there. And my second piece of my ordered pair, my y value, should be 1 over 2. There's your 1 over 2 right there. Now let's move on to 45, or pi over 4. Pi over 4 right there is going to be our second finger, and so when you pick it, you're going to tuck it. And then when you do that tuck right there, what you're going to notice is that you've got two collections of numbers, and these are going to represent your numerators again. That's root 2 over 2, and then the second one is another root 2 over 2. That matches perfectly with what you see on your ordered pair here. Same thing for pi over 3. Pi over 3 is going to be one of these three right here, and it's going to be that guy right there. That is 1 over 2. There it is right there. And then this guy right here is your y value, and that's 3 over 2. So that works out really, really nicely. I believe it also even works for 90 degrees or pi over 2. If you tuck that guy in right there, you're going to get 0 over on this side. And then you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be 4 over 4, which is going to give you 1. That one doesn't work as nicely, but it is a little bit okay. It doesn't work great, but it is fine and dandy. So there you go. Their unit circle is tucked into your hand. If you want to use some of the values over here, you need to use your right hand. Once again, your pinky is going to be the y-axis, and your thumb is going to be the x-axis, and you can get your information for your 5 pi over 6, or for your 3 pi over 4, or for your 2 pi over 3 very quickly and easily. And that works out really, really nicely. So there you go. That is my very, very best pro tips that I have for you. There's 15s and 30s. There's counting the pizzas. There's the 0, 1, 2, 3. And there's the hand trick. So please, please, please try your very best to practice those and master them. And then you will be a unit circle master for next year.